My name's Cassidy, producer name CassKidd, and this is my producer's house. I'm 17, I go to Brit school, I'm still at college, I'm in my last year. A bit about myself. As you know, I like making music, I make it quite a lot, that's what I do in my spare time. And hopefully, I like to do it as a profession or some sort of music related job. I think it was when I was 11. Like one of my older brothers, he used to make music just to, like, mucking around, and I asked him, like, can you teach me? And he was just like, no. And then there's me thinking, okay, how am I going to learn how to make beats? But then he told me that like the best way to learn is to do it yourself. And then ever since then, which was like what, 6 years ago, I'm 17 now. So since I was 11, I've just been on Fruity Loops and just practicing, and here I am today. Software, I've always been using Fruity Loops, from like Fruity Loops 7 or 8. Like, that was the first time I actually made a beat. Like, my first beat was terrible. Like, I think I used like a Biggie Small sample, and then I probably still got it on my computer now, but it was rubbish. Then I thought it was sick. I thought I was like Timbaland or the next, or whatever. But yeah, I used Fruity Loops. I've been, like, people ask me, oh, why don't you go to Logic or get the Mac? But Fruity is like, this is like my brother, my mum, whatever you want to call it. But I'm sticking with Fruity until someone persuades me. But yeah, Fruity Loops 10 at the moment. So with my equipment, I don't have a lot, but it's still something. I have these Kenwood speakers, just 2, and they're connected to the hi-fi below. But yeah, these did a trick. As long as they play out the sound, my job is a bit easier. And then we have my Roland digital piano. It does the trick. That's just the plugin that's playing through. But I got this, I think my dad's friend, it's got it for free. So that was I didn't even know how to connect it up to Fruity Loops like beforehand. But the power of the MIDI key, the MIDI, the lead and stuff. So I was like, thanks for that. So whoever gave that to me, thank you for this, and my uncle for this as well, I forgot to say. And lastly, my Toshiba laptop. Had it for like 4 or 5 years. It was originally my mum's. This actually is my mum's PC, but she's got like a netbook and all sorts of laptops. So this Toshiba laptop, and it's a music one as well, because even on these they have like speakers, and it's all touch screen here and stuff, which is pretty sick. And you got the trackpad, and yeah, I just use this lead to connect to these speakers. So yeah, that's my equipment. I think with inspiration, like the first time I was inspired to do like whatever make music was in like year 4. Like, this was when like grime music was at like its peak, like to me anyway, even though it was out like a few years before that. But like growing up, I listened to a lot of like Wiley, Bomb Squad. Like in all of their songs, they had like just weird samples in it, and they'll always be high pitch as well. So you wouldn't even know what the song is originally. But yeah, I'd listen to it and I'd ask my brothers like, what's that? How do they do that? And they're all like, I don't know. So, you know, a couple, like, and I just left it at that, and I just thought I would never find out how to make music. But then as I got older, like when I went to like say secondary school times, I started messing around with like old songs and making them into my own, and that's when I realised, oh, that's what they were doing back in the old days for like grime music and other stuff. So that's one way I was inspired. Another way, I'd say I used to listen to a lot of Drake. I still do now, but I liked him as a rapper, but it wasn't even him that I really liked. I liked his like production and his producer Noah Fortune. So I went through a phase when I just listened to all of the instrumentals. And like even today, I checked like one of my instrumentals I've done. It's like a type beat, like a Drake type beat, and that's got like 50,000 views. But yeah, just mainly artists I like, I'll just look into their producers really, and then listen from there. So Noah, Jay-Z and Kanye West producer, Hit Boy, he's hard. A girl called Wonder Girl Beats, who's the same age as me. but she comes from Toronto, the same place as Drake, and she happens to work with Hit Boy as well. So it's a small circle, but that's just a few. So and Timberland. But yeah. The biggest artist I've worked with, I think, before I even say, I think each artist I've worked with, like big or small, they each have their own like following. So I wouldn't even know who's the biggest, because I've worked with quite a few like American guys, and I didn't know like how big they were until like their fans and stuff were like, oh, are you CassKidd? Are you? And I was like, okay. But in terms of like the one that I can say that some people may know, especially in England, is DJ Ironic. I worked with, or I produced one song for him, which was just like for a net video, which I didn't even know, but like I didn't know it was gonna be like that. So that was good. And then from there he was like, oh, send me a few things, and I sent over like a folder of like music, and then through the email, it's just like, it was like a hand of God, like he just pointed, he was like, okay, I want this one. But obviously he wasn't there, but he just said he wanted that one. Then we just worked back and forth through emails and through the computer and stuff. And yeah, it was on his recent EP, Independently Unstoppable, track 3. So yeah, that was good. Like to produce for someone who you grow up like listening to. Like in my childhood, like DJ Ironic was like big, and for him, I remember I was at my granny's house, and I was just on my BlackBerry at the time, and I got a tweet, or no, like it said someone was following me, like DJ Ironic, but I thought it was like just a fake person. And then I was like, oh crap. And surprisingly enough, in my granny's house, you normally get no service. So I don't know who was watching me that day, but I saw the tweet, and then we just started talking DMs, emails, and yeah. So I would say he's the biggest person to date I've worked with, but hopefully I work with more people in the future. The kind of producer I would say I am, one that doesn't just make the same thing. I don't really have like a direct like title, but when I like make my music and I put in like the details of like the genre, I put anything and everything, because I really don't know myself like what type of producer I call myself. But most of my like beats and stuff are like they're hip hop orientated. That's one thing I can say. So if you want to call me a hip hop producer, you can if you want. But I take like the alternative approach, because I use like a lot of samples. But when I do use them, no one knows what it is unless I put it in the title or say it. So I would say alternative hip hop, alternative R&B at times, and anything and everything. And yeah. I'm sitting here shaking my head like, oh well, for me, I don't reckon you need high-end like stuff. Like look, like the stuff that I just showed you before, like all I have is speakers, MIDI keyboard and Fruity, and when it's late and everyone's sleeping in the house, I just put on headphones. So that's all I have, and that's all I have been using. I've been to a few studios, but not for me, just like to look and been invited and stuff. But when I see like what other people use, I'm just like, do you even need all that stuff? But obviously different people cater to different things, but I don't think you need any high-end equipment, because I reckon it don't matter what you have, it's just how you use it. So these guys have been helping me out really. So technology, I shake my head to that. What I'm about to show you is one of the tracks taken from my new EP entitled Nothing's Ever Wasted, brackets new. The reason for this is because like my brothers, because if you haven't noticed, this is my bedroom by the way, so this is my house, but they always say, oh, when are you gonna release this, why is that sitting there? So most of the music that I have just stay in my computer, so that's the reason why I've put this on the new EP. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Alright, so I'm gonna play a snippet and then I'm gonna show you how I've done it. that's just like build up within the chorus to it. But how I started this beat, as you see, that's just a section of the whole thing. This is the whole thing together, and it goes down quite low. But how did I start it? I think I had a pad. I won't even reveal the plugins that I use just yet. But that type of scary sound. So I came up with this melody. And then from there, the kick pattern came into my head. It's kind of simple, but it does the trick. Before I start, these are my beloved 808s, and this is the pattern for it. Taken from one of the packs I downloaded off the internet. I won't reveal which one just yet. But yeah. And then that's just the bass drop. Nothing special, just for effects. Claps. Little ambient beat. Hi-hats. This is just under the actual layers to bring a bit of beef. And then from here, because I actually sampled Calvin Harris, Thinking About You. So from the moment I heard the song, I knew I was going to end up doing like a remix or some sort of rework to it. I just didn't know how. And then I came up with these little samples, individual ones, all highlighted in yellow. So I just done that messing around with the keyboard, and I came up with this.
I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. Something that we used to, something that we
The reverse for the effect. More effects. Okay, my computer just tried to freeze on me there, but it's alright. What else do we have? Let me get back to this. More samples. And then, sometimes it is blank because I just space out my stuff. I don't know why I do that.
better, babe. If I told
So coming to like the end of my beat, as in like in terms of the structure, I use a lot of like orchestral sounds, and it's only recently I started doing it because it just sounds like real. Like they sound like, compared to all like the other plugins, I just think this one that I use is the most real. So what you're hearing the same pattern but just loads of layers. Just like a drum roll. More layering. We're coming to the end of the patterns, I think. And then we have more sample. I'll sample quite a lot as well, that's the thing. But each has an individual need. That's just a little boom for the effect. And then the backwards raise. And that is how I made Thinking About You. And this is what it sounds like.
play the whole thing, but it's, like I said, it's going to be available on my next EP, Nothing's Ever Wasted, and you're probably going to hear the whole beat in this short producer's house anyway. But when it comes out, please download it. It's free. You don't have to pay for nothing. It's going to be available on my SoundCloud and any other blogs or websites that wish to take it on. And yeah, CassKidd, it's my producer's house. Shout out DA Productions, Part 2 coming soon. I'm gonna make more music. CassKidd.